Great. I'm calling the May meeting of the Great Barrington Board of Library Trustees to order. It's 5:30 p.m. Attendance: Pat Hollenbeck,
Here.
Dawn Jardine,
Here.
Laura Morris,
Here.
Ruby Chang, Donna Jacobs,
Here.
and Sharon Shalo. Great. And we're expecting Lauren Clark. In the guests here today are Sharon Gregory in the audience and Frederica Siegel online. Okay. I'd like to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 15th?
I make a motion to
And
approve minutes, yes.
And do I have a second?
I wasn't here, so.
I second.
Okay, great. Discussion, corrections?
Yes. So under reports,
Yeah.
director's report, line 3. We own a couple is duplicated.
Okay, remove duplication.
The line is we own a couple in overdrive. There twice.
Okay.
And then under Ransdale Building Committee report, it says director change twice, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. That's why I found it.
Let's stipulate that whenever we find director, we'll replace it with trustee, with apologies from a former executive director of a board of directors.
The other thing also under Ransdale, paragraph next to last paragraph, last line, the word initiative is misspelled.
Okay, typo on initiative.
Typo. And then one last thing is under trustee liaison policy, paragraph 1, line 1, the word liaison towards the end of the line.
Okay, typo on liaison.
Yeah. That is. That's all I.
Oh, no, there was one more. Dawn, you said that we miscorrected.
That was under number 3. Oh, but that's approval of them. Oh, I see. Approval of the last minutes, but Pamela Means is not performing until September.
Okay, let's put it in this minutes as a
Okay.
correction.
Yeah.
So let's put it as an update that Pamela Means will be performing in September at the GB Library. All in favor of approving the minutes as amended? Pat? Oh, it wasn't here, abstain. Laura?
Aye.
Ruby?
Aye.
Sharon? Oh, we can't. Okay, we don't have a quorum on that. We'll have to table that, and if Lauren comes, we will get a vote on that. If not, we'll bring them up again in the next meeting. Okay. Reports. I'm going to do a quick chair's update. First, I just wanted to say, as I was putting the agenda together, I saw that we had a lot of reports stacked up at the beginning, and we need to get to the heart of the meeting. So I'm not like trying to limit debate on all of our reports, but let's keep in mind that we really want to get to the business a little later on. And so I might be trying to move us along efficiently. And I guess that what I want to say too is that it's really hard not to take a moment to start this meeting by saying that the resounding defeat of the Prop 2.5 override is something we're all going to have to come to terms with this year. I don't know if we're just going to run as it said and run our free cash down, or whether there'll be some attempt to find some cost savings during the year. I think we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out, and just keep on top of it. And I think that we also are going to need to really understand the current temperature in the town. So I would encourage us to make plans for a lot of outreach and a lot of conversations so that we can reaffirm the desires of the community and
In
get.
regard to the Ramsdale, you mean, or just in general?
Well, I think the Ramsdale is obviously the main, the largest issue, but I think library services in general and I mean, I think that the library could be playing some roles. It would be interesting to see
Mhm.
what people think, and I don't think we should prejudge what those would be. But yeah, of course, I was thinking
Yeah.
about undergirding the support and making sure that it's still there in the way that we need. And I think if we do a lot of outreach and a lot of conversations, that it will be. But I don't think we should take it for granted. I just think that people. I guess what I'm saying is that I think that the vote suggests that people are exhausted right now by our budgets and that we should continue doing very positive outreach to undergird the support for this project because we are going to have a vote on it soon. I'm not saying it has to happen in the next month or two, but we've talked about outreach, but we haven't really moved to the plans yet. So what I'd like us to do is maybe next when we're going to do goal setting. I don't know whether we do it next month or in July. I think we should plan a couple of outreach initiatives and just start to get conversations flowing around that. So that's all I was saying, Ruby. And so to something of that end, I had I recalled the draft memo that I wrote to CPC, as I told you. I personally think we need a direct approach that exposes problems, but I'm not in a majority. Here comes Ms. Clark.
Sorry.
That's okay. You have a long.
Day, I'm closed on Wednesdays, but yet.
Yeah, I know. But we all see your car there and we all stop in. Yeah. Yeah. Well, welcome, Lauren Clark.
It's hard to hide that thing.
Lauren Clark joined the meeting at 5:38. Okay. And in a minute, after I finish a quick couple of things, we'll revisit the minutes so that we can take a vote to get them approved. So I just want to pull it back and I want us to have a conversation about the approach and let a new approach go forward. That comes out of more of a consensus. Personally,
The letter.
regarding the letter, personally, I don't think we should do anything for a month or two because I think that the town's got a lot of other things going on right now. But that's what we'll just see. So that'll be an agenda item in the future. A new item came to my attention after the agenda was prepared and posted. And that is that we need to revise, update, or develop in various capacities a meeting room and exhibits policy. So I'm going to ask Dawn and Laura, are you still willing to be that subcommittee, Laura, with working with Dawn? So that's going to be on the agenda next month. That'll be upcoming. Is June okay, or would you like it to be July?
I think we can make it
I'm away for a week, just so you know, from
next week.
May 20. It's the week before Memorial Day, May 20th or 21st, whatever that Friday is, to the following Saturday.
Oh, we won't make it then because I'm away the week of June.
Okay, good. It'll be on the July menu. Our special for the day. Okay. And finally, and it probably is firstly, because this is the main thing, this is transitions and reorganization is the theme of the night. So I want to welcome our new trustee, Donna Jacobs, and also say goodbye to Sandy Pantorno, who we're going to surely miss. Sandy was a really straight shooter and I valued her opinion over the past 2 years. She met me early and often when I first came on the board to review the trustee handbook with me, to make a list of people that she thought I should go talk to. And I could always rely on her, not just to have opinions in the background, but if she had them, to boldly go out there and tell you what they were. And I am going to, and I really appreciated that. She was going to try to make it tonight, but she said if she couldn't, she asked me if I would read this statement from her. So I'm going to do that. To our Great Barrington Library's director, Dawn Jardine, the library staff, and the trustees of the Great Barrington Libraries, and to our Great Barrington community. As a library trustee, I've always endeavored to improve and support what is best for the library director, staff, and community. To the current board, the years ahead have the potential to be exciting and innovative. They'll be filled with community-minded needs and initiatives, but they won't be without difficult decisions and differing opinions. Keeping the needs of our community members, from the youngest among us to our seniors, as guiding lights and as your North Star will be crucial. On a final note, I'd like to stress the importance that everyone, from library staff to trustees to community members, listen and respect each other's ideas. That congenial climate will serve to pave the road and strengthen our libraries. I wish the new Board of Trustees success. As always, I'll continue to advocate for our libraries as we move into the future. Good luck to you all. So that's from Sandy.
That's the first, so long letter I remember ever hearing from a trustee.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Nice
good.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a very committed person, and I am, yeah. Good. So I seem to have conveniently put my agenda somewhere. There it is. Good. So let's go on to Dawn's report, library director's
Did you want,
report.
excuse me, but did you want to approve the minutes? That
Oh, good point.
because
Because Pat had to abstain. We amended the minutes to essentially remove typos, a duplication of one phrase. We own a couple, changing director to trustee wherever Sharon accidentally misspoke. And then two other typos, one of the liaison, one is of initiative. Did you have any other corrections? No. Okay, I'd like to ask if we can take another vote to approve the minutes as amended. Pat is abstaining, Lauren, Ruby, and Sharon, aye. So we have them approved. Thank you. And I'll make the corrections and send them to post, okay?
Thank you.
So let's go to the library director's report, Dawn.
Well, we do have a problem with our elevator. It's still not fixed.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, they came to do a load test, which, they actually put like 3,000 pounds in there or something. And they didn't even get that, because when they got in the elevator, there was some kind of code showing. And they didn't, Otis didn't have the right computer to read the code. So they didn't know what was wrong. She came back again and still didn't have a laptop, but checked some panels and things in the elevator room and still can't figure out what's right. So it's still out of order. We cannot use it until.
So are people like using the side door to access the lower level if they can't use the stairs?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So literally to go from one to the other, you have to go outside. So it's not great.
No, it's not great, especially in the rainy weather.
Hopefully it won't last too much longer. When I see Brian, I'll ask him for a status update. I hope you get a chance to look at the art show that's here.
Actually, yes, I love it.
I do too.
One of those like little
Needle felted art. There's these vinyls here.
Yeah, they're awesome.
There's art made with gems in there from Hillcrest. So most of the art comes from W.E.B. Du Bois Middle School. And there's also some art from Hillcrest. And it's in this room, the other reading room, in the stacks, and in the kids' room.
Oh.
So it's fifth grade through what is it, ninth
Ninth?
at Du Bois?
No, I think
Eight.
Eighth, okay. Yes, plus Hillcrest. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what their grades are. So
Yeah, there's some over there as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, I mean, really creative, neat stuff. I really spent a lot of time looking at it. So when you get a chance, and so thank you to those art teachers for sharing that.
How
with
long
us.
has it been out?
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask Betsy. Yeah. It's been here about a week, I'd say. Yeah, maybe 2 weeks. The only other thing that's not in the report is that I'm going on vacation the first week in June. It's, yeah, kind of a staycation, but, I'm kind of sort of.
Don't
out.
tell us that.
Don't
I know,
because-
I'm definitely tuning out, so,
Good.
hopefully, I may make a trip to New York to see my daughter. In there
So-
somewhere.
Yeah, just as a point of information, is Donna then the acting director in your
Yes.
stead? So
Yes.
any issues, we go right to Donna.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that will even be in an email, you
Okay.
know, with a message.
Yeah.
And that's it, unless there's any questions about my report.
I have one question. In the section about Ramsdale, the third bullet, you talked about changes to the Ramsdale Building Committee, and recommended that trustees take over intervening work until the Ramsdale Building Committee is reformed. What does that entail?
There's not gonna be a lot of official work to be done for the grant, I don't think. But what comes up after June 30th will have to be tackled by the trustees because
Okay.
the building committee expires
Oh,
June 30th, correct,
Right.
Ruby?
Mhm.
So, and Liz, is looking at a big picture, sort of restructure of the building committee. And it will have to go through the select board and everything.
I just object to all of that.
Well,
because-
can we wait until we get to the Ramsdale project because it's going to come up again?
Okay,
Yeah. Good. Because I just, not to cut you off, but I think it's going to come up again. Yeah. Is there any other thing, any other questions? Well, thanks as ever. And not, not to kind of end your vacation before it starts, but you'll be, but you'll be back for the June meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
because that week,
I feel like the June meeting's early,
it's the
but
second Wednesday, right?
yeah, it's the second Wednesday.
Oh, it's not on this list. It would be the old one.
Yeah.
It'll be on the
Yeah.
10th.
Okay, because if not, we'll just, you know, we'll just change
Yeah,
things
talk
around.
About me behind my back.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be home on the couch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll all be good, Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Any other, so, all right, so moving on, affiliated organizations reports. Let me quickly, I spoke with Ed Abrams today. Well, I've spoken with him a couple of times. He and I were supposed to have met, but time got away from me. So the situation is he was literally assembling these new rolling carts as we spoke.
Mhm.
I must have been on speaker because I could hear all of the noise. The plan is to have all of the books on rolling moving carts, not tables. And the books will be rolled in and out and we'll be targeting weekends. It won't be that we have to hit
And they could
every
be
day
rolled
of
in
the
and
week.
out, just they could
They
stay on the
could,
cart,
and they
and
can
they
go
roll-
roll up the round, the ramp
the ramp.
of
where they
Mason.
stored.
And his feeling also is that they can be covered at night unless it's going to rain. So it doesn't sound as if it's going to be very onerous. And I asked him who was going to be in charge of sign up, so that we could all sign up for
Right.
some time.
Right.
He is leaving mid-June and he is away for 6 weeks.
Right.
boy, it's going to be 6 weeks in the Cotswolds. Let's all get jealous now
Yeah, yeah,
instead of, but anyway, it will either be Holly or Jan or the both of them together, Jan Khan, or the both of them together managing the sign up. They're still working out the details. So as soon as they have it sorted,
He'll reach
he's
out.
he's going to reach out to me with the process. And then I'm just going to share it with everybody by email because we probably need to sign up before the June meeting. And the target is, and I think they're still working this out about Mondays, but the target is if it's nice on a Thursday, start on Thursday, but really focus on the weekends.
Mhm.
And so it sounds like it's not going to be that hard for us to gather volunteers and get it covered
And
for
the-
6 weeks.
The covers that go over in case of rain, he has those there,
He's going, I mean, he's probably going to repurpose the ones he was using for the tables, which, but he hasn't, he was literally assembling the carts today. So anyway, look for an email from me with contact information, and there'll probably just be a sign-up sheet somewhere that we can, I hope online, that we can tap in on. But it sounds as if he doesn't expect the carts to be rolled out and rolled back in every day unless it's raining. And so I think it's going to be manageable. And other than that, there was no other report from the Friends. I neglected to ask about the date of the poetry reading in May. But I think it's, yeah, I don't remember. So
No,
we
it's
should all
the
just be on the
24th.
lookout for the other words poetry.
I have
Um,
it down in my office.
Did anybody go in April? I wasn't able to go.
I did,
Good,
I did go. It was quite crowded.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said
right.
45 people.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I mean, he's really built up quite a community around this. Not he personally. I mean, that Michael and Evelyn have built up quite a following for the
And
series.
The difference was that the snacks they weren't usually, they're kind of usually on the side.
Yeah.
But this time they were, if you're at the podium reading, like you can see them, they were like straight ahead on the other side of the center table.
Oh, that's
So he
interesting.
put them there because there was something, there were book cards. Oh, because the book
Yeah.
were along
That actually was probably good because that meant that people weren't getting up during the readings. They only did let the breaks, but that's good.
yeah.
I'm really glad, and I was sorry I couldn't go, so I'll try to get to the May one.
It's good.
Good. All right, so that was it for the Friends. And Sharon Gregory is here.
Here to welcome Donna to the board and
Oh, okay.
launch her new year.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. Good. Okay, now we're on to the Ramsdale renovation project, and this has 3, not 4 components. I don't know what happened in the editing, but the home down delivery update is a different report. So we're going to do an update from Ruby, then an update from Dawn about the committee formation itself, what she knows to date. And then we want to hear from Laura and Lauren about your work with the High C subcommittee. So let's start with Ruby.
So we did not have a monthly meeting in April. We did have one in May. That was last Tuesday. And there was quite a few agenda items with it, but the gist of it is having to do with the Massachusetts Historical Commission's letter stating that they did not pass our design, and we had originally been waiting for Andrea at MBLC because she has 2 other projects that have the similar kind of review. And so she was hoping that through their legal channels that they would be able to speak directly with the Massachusetts Historical Commission. However, the end result was that that channel did not go through, And she was very, a couple of weeks later, she told us that we should do what the commission had requested, which is a straight away, going in two directions. One is to supply a alternate plan that would include the 1930 edition and explain why that plan was not able to be accepted. And then the other branch was the fact that we would need to work with our local historical commission to get their support for the plan that we had submitted. So we're going in two different directions. Michael, our architect, had taken upon him to submit an original plan when we first started last summer. That included the edition, 1930 edition, that we voted down very quickly. And he will give evidence of the load from the engineers, that the load that would be required for that edition is not comparable to any additional addition to this. So we can't have a second story on top of the addition. And so he will present that along with all of the data to the historical commission. He had spoken with the responsible party at the commission, and pretty much all three projects had gotten the same response, which is you need to do this and this and this and this and this. So Michael is taking it upon himself to do that. He is not charging us for this additional work. And he will let us know if there is a requirement for more work than he had originally contracted out to. So that's where he is at this point. And then Chris Randall joined us at our meeting, and we had a discussion about parking. And I had explained to him that the parking issue is much bigger than what our committee, our Ramsdale Building Committee could accomplish. This is something that has to have the cooperation from the DPW of the town. It has to have the blessings of all of the local neighbors. And some of this parking initiative could include changing this main road from both ways to one direction, so that we can add additional parking along the street. Do you remember, was there ever sloppy parking in front of Ramsdale years ago?
Not that I know
The only thing I knew was that Eric Gabriel mentioned at one of the receptions here that he has a memory of having curb cut-ins. And I asked about that with Chris Rembold, and he said he was going to see if there were any historical drawings.
He said there's probably he said it was before his time.
It was before his time. He also mentioned that there was some kind of maybe state grant or block grant before the CPC was formed, a CPA block grant that might have been used to repave the road here and redo the curbs. And he thought if any change had been made, that would have been at that time.
I seem to recall there was some discussion a number of years ago about making this one way. And for whatever reason, it didn't happen. It got turned down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think it really had anything to do with the library. I think it was some other.
No, I think it, yeah. I mean, these are pretty narrow streets in the village, so, but.
As you well know, if we renovate this library, we're going to have a lot more traffic, more usage, more people requiring parking. it's going to be stressful for the neighbors, no matter which way we go. So it's much better to really engage in everyone who lives on the street, you know, the meeting house, the town, to figure out what is the best options that we could have to provide enough parking so people will use the library. You know, you could spend millions renovating this library, but if you don't use it because people can't find parking, they can't park comfortably, then what's the use, right? You can't get
Right.
people here. And so this is a big deal, and I really, I believe, Dawn, did you end up talking to Liz about this parking?
No, to Chris,
To Chris?
yes.
Okay, would you like to pick up on that?
Well, we're gonna move on to an update from Dawn, so you might want to just combine the two. So
That's
do you
fine.
want to wrap up? Is there anything more you want to add?
So, like you said, I was waiting to hear from Liz what is going to happen to our committee. As you well know, it ends June 30th, our position. So at that point, we really are just gonna be waiting for NBLC to tell us what the next step is. And so I figured that we could dissolve the members at this point, and then as we get closer to understanding what the funding scenarios are going to be, then we will, you know, readdress another subcommittee of some sort. But at this point, I think that the trustees will take over whatever communications that any parties may have.
So Ruby, do you plan one more RBC meeting to wrap up with the current committee? Is there something that we could do jointly to thank them for all this work? Do you want to think about that? And
I think it would be a wonderful thing if the trustees could meet up with the wonderful job that
Yeah.
the Ramsdale committee had done to support our cause.
right,
You know, after all, it is the library's cause, and they have donated 30 meetings.
yes.
Time.
I know, I think it would be nice if we could work that out. So maybe you and I could talk offline about how to organize that.
Well, if it's not, dissolving until the end of June, we're gonna have one more meeting anyway.
I was hoping that we would have one more meeting, yes. Yes.
So
So I
maybe we
wasn't
could,
sure if we could use that opportunity to have a meeting and to have the trustees come to us.
yeah,
When have been your regular meetings?
Tuesdays at 4, and we always did it by Zoom.
which is not, we can't really vet people. We can thank them, but we can't really give them a reception over Zoom. Unless we send something to everyone's home.
You only Zoom? It's always just by Zoom?
So
Well, in the beginning, you were making.
all of the candidates for various positions, we did meet in person because we needed to look at their body language. We need to really figure out what kind of people they are. And so they all traveled to meet with us in person. And some of those
Yes,
meetings were 4 hours long, so it was extensive amount of time and effort by all of the wonderful people that helped us. Yeah, so,
Okay,
you
why
know,
don't we see what we can arrange? Why don't we talk about it after the meeting?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Ruby. Okay, so Dawn has some things to add subsequent to that based on her meeting. So if you want to just, maybe you could start with the parking and then move through the rest of it.
Chris was very open to discussing different kinds of parking. We talked about different kinds of cutouts. We talked about, you know, not necessarily giving up the idea of a partnership with the meeting next door. But what we need to do next is to meet with Liz and members of the immediate vicinity And so how we left it is that he's going to talk to Liz about setting something up, but it won't be until after Freetown votes.
Right.
So it would, you know, the earliest
So when,
After-
Freetown votes.
free time.
Yes, their votes are June, I think June 1st and June 8th.
Oh, but
Right.
Excuse me, did you say Freetown?
Freetown. Freetown is another library project. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of three-town issues around here, I know.
So that's where that's going. I came away from that meeting feeling encouraged that there are possibilities, you know. It was very discouraging, all that we went through to kind of try to cram it in, but there are options and possibilities, so we might yet be able to work something out.
Well, we'll work something out. We just don't know
Yeah.
what it will be.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest issue, I do agree with what Ruby said, that there'll be more people coming here at night. And we really don't, I think people will find parking, but they might be taking parking spaces that neighbors need because there's a lot of on-street parking here. So we don't want to be an inconvenience to people, but I think the major concern is getting some parking close to the new elevator entrance so that people don't have so much walking to get to the accessible component. So,
I did have something misunderstood, and what I had thought was that it was required for us to have a 22-foot driveway in order to have two-way traffic. But that's not necessarily the case. But we do need 22 feet where the parking is. For example, if there's some slanted parking back by the elevator, it would have to be 22 feet wide so that people could get out and turn around.
right.
So that was a misunderstanding on my part. So it doesn't necessarily have to be 22 feet down here, but it would have to be up there.
Yeah. Oh, good point. It only would have to, it could
Right.
be smaller, but then
Yeah,
open
yeah,
out.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does give us a little more leeway. Yeah. And,
And as far as the committee
Yeah.
goes, you know, I did talk to Liz about that. I described to her what I learned from Westfield about how theirs is structured. We talked a little bit about what MBLC requires. So there has to be 2 trustees, that I have to be on the committee. And I think that she needs some time to think about how it will be structured. She will, you know, include the things that MBLC requires, of course. And I think that she may be giving some thought to a standing building committee. I'm not sure about that. So, but we did talk about Westfield and how they structured it so that every time the building committee met, it was also a board meeting, kind of like select board and FinCom does during budget season. And then everybody would leave the meeting except the board of trustees, and the trustees would then do their other business. And the advantage of that was, of course, everybody knew what was going on.
right.
Whether we can do that here or not, I don't know, but we talked about it a little bit. And I asked her for some guidance for processing bills. You know, in other words, what should be the routine? Should everything be submitted to the OPM and then it comes to me and Ruby and we say okay and send it on? Or is there some other process that she wants us to take? So that's about it. I think we have to give her some time to.
So those are all in process. She hasn't made
Yes.
any decisions about any of them yet.
Exactly, but it does look like the structure will be a little bit different.
Right. But to clarify, a standing building committee means that there are people appointed to serve on a building committee, no matter what the building is.
Mhm.
And then certain other people are brought on to make the building committee relevant to a particular project.
That's what Westfield has.
So we wouldn't do that broad search for many members of a new Ramsdale committee if she follows
I'm not
that
sure,
model.
yeah, how many
Okay.
new members that she you know, she and the select board would think necessary.
Okay,
But there would be at least what NBLC requires.
right, right. Good, well, so now and you're meeting with her again
In
in
June,
June sometime,
right, but I don't know if this will be the topic,
right?
but she may have some news for me on that.
Okay,
Um,
so we'll expect more over the summer.
mhm.
Good. And then Laura and Lauren, you have started to meet with Housatonic Improvement Committee about,
Yeah. Just went to their last meeting.
We
And,
did. And what we volunteered
yeah,
should be to help with the long dinner.
yeah. that
Long
would be
table
the
dinner.
Oh, the long
first day,
table.
the long
Yeah.
table.
so do you think that's going to be an opportunity for us to talk about Ramsdale, or is this
The
completely
dinner?
social?
At the dinner?
Yeah.
It's really unclear. I don't think
Yeah,
that.
I don't think that it's a fully formed
Right,
situation yet.
right.
And actually, I brought up something. I brought up
It's the
something,
long close of the door.
I brought up something that it seemed like they had not addressed, that seemed to me that it was something that should be addressed first. Kind of like the idea with the parking and you need to speak to your abutters. They have this whole plan and they have not talked to the people who live on the street. And if they
Oh.
wanna close down Main Street in Houstonic from Depot Street to Pleasant Street, there's a lot of people who live there. And, so, and I absolutely love the whole
Yeah.
idea of it, but it's like, before you go forward, I think you better make sure that you have permission. Don't spend a whole lot of time.
So you've already become a worthy member of the subcommittee.
You opened my big fat mouth and I could see, it was kind of like, didn't you feel it was kind of like it all shut down?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Like, we'll deal with it.
So, but
Yeah.
since I'm not on the committee.
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
I could only ask.
Right.
Because we were asked if everybody, it was more like citizen speak
mhm.
in a sense and.
So they're
we were
not,
allowed to
they
say-
were originally, I mean, the reason that we talked about asking the two of you to serve was that they were going to start planning Ramsdale outreach and Ramsdale FAQs and stuff like that, but they haven't that wasn't,
Was there any?
Oh,
Okay.
no, actually, didn't we ask them about that they were gonna have questions that they were gonna be asking?
Oh,
Remember
yes.
that?
yes.
And
Right.
she, that, Yeah.
Betsy said that they were working on answers to questions.
right, that's right.
They were
Right,
working
for like an FAQ kind of.
Yes, they were
Okay.
working on answers to questions and
Okay.
and they would just have more information next
Good.
month.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Which I think.
Yeah, 'cause we want
that they
every-
would I think they need to come to us as a board.
Yes.
with That,
Yeah,
but they weren't ready.
yeah,
But we did both, and Ruby, you've been at these meetings and I've been to a few in the past. I really liked something that they did, which was towards the end of the meeting, the chair asked each of the members what they had been tasked with something for the month.
right.
They just went around
And
the
they were
table
on
and
the
it
table
was
and
like,
each person gave a short report of what
They
they
gave a
had
Right.
done.
Right.
and also what their plan was for next month. It was
Yeah.
like a two-pronged.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good,
That's a
yeah,
good idea.
I think it's good and it keeps everybody
Right.
moving on their goals, right?
Well, it keeps people actually engaging in, which I think is great. I mean,
They also had a major pop-up, which.
yeah, they have a potluck every time.
I know, I
Really
went
sucks. They
last
They set up
month, I
food, they
was,
set up food and coffee and
yeah.
drinks but they don't manage. It somehow does not interfere, it doesn't seem intrusive.
No,
It
no,
just-
no.
No, like it just, they're eating while they're.
and nobody gets hangry, so,
Yeah, so
yeah,
they're a nice group.
yeah, they are.
Again, they're not elected, but they're appointed.
Right,
Um, and,
Oh, that's a town appointed committee.
yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
But there are a lot of people come who are maybe not appointed,
Oh, yeah, the
like
group
the group's
small.
large. Yeah,
I don't think there are even this many
Four.
people on their
Yeah.
committee.
But there were one,
But there are a
two,
lot of people who
three,
come to the
four,
meetings.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what's interesting,
yeah.
which I think is great.
yeah,
It's because those are people who are interested in
Right.
Housatonic
Right,
and they're interested in the law.
right.
yeah.
So they're getting a lot of,
Yeah.
buy-in with what they're doing.
Good. Well, good. Keep us updated. Let us know what we can do to help you.
Well, I guess my question about that though is, right, we're gonna talk about liaison, like
The
actual,
role of it.
well, and also being actually,
Well, we adopted the liaison policy last month, but we said that the liaisons would be appointed in July.
in July.
And so we have, and that way,
Officially liaisons until.
well, you're on a subcommittee, but if you want that to be, you volunteered to be on the subcommittee, so you're charged with working on that. But then working with High C on the Ramsdale outreach, but nice for you to get yourself extra involved in their other projects. I mean, it's great. But so if you think there's, I think, if you think beyond the subcommittee that you think we should have a permanent liaison there,
Well, I guess
bring that
that's
up, right?
my question,
Yeah.
because I remember we did talk about subcommittee, but somehow I think I was conflating
Exactly.
those two things. And
Right.
so what would be the difference
Well, I think that-
between a subcommittee of two people and one or two liaisons to,
Well, I think the
Another group.
liaison,
is it just giving it the name?
I mean, the liaison is the communications conduit, but not tasked with getting involved with any projects. But you're on a subcommittee to actually collaborate with them on whatever they're doing about the Ramsdale outreach.
Okay.
So it's like,
An official liaison would actually be making a report back to.
yeah,
the
like
board.
bringing information from the trustees or bringing information back.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Information.
Exactly. But it would be about more, but it would be about any subject. Whereas, we only asked you to get involved with the Ramsdale stuff. But as I said, thank you for getting more involved.
I just don't, somehow. I thought we were getting involved, just in general, just
Well,
like.
you're free to. That seems like a lot to ask of somebody.
Because I don't, yeah.
So you can take this as you're at liberty to say no to anything unless it has to do with Ramsdale. Okay. Because that's what we're counting on you for. The concern was that there wouldn't be consistent messaging.
Right.
And so that in developing the outreach plans, the trustees would want to collaborate. If there are FAQs being drafted, we'd want to have input, just so that we have a consistent message.
There yet, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they
okay,
were there.
so cool.
So they're,
That's good, but that's
good.
Because if that's what we're focusing on, then we need to, be proactive about getting their answers.
That information,
That
exactly, and
information,
not
so
just
that
sitting
we
and
can work
listening,
with
right?
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think all of us would help with what they need for long table if we were tasked with it. So if you wanted to, if they need more volunteers, you could come back and shout us up. Thanks, guys. Okay, Pat, let's bring up your concerns about the Ramsdale building
Committee, yeah, I think.
process. I don't know what the concerns are, but why don't we raise them?
Huge, because there's so many problems wrong with this town. That committee is a standing committee, a wonderful architect on there, great people on that committee. So if we just start again, these people have no relationship with NVLC or the architects. Why are we just doing something over? It doesn't make any sense. If the town, I don't mean to be sarcastic, the town is interested in renewing things, whatever, they should start with the Community Preservation Committee, which hasn't changed in about 12 years.
Okay, let's not, yeah.
Well, this is, I'm gonna say it. And the Historic Commission.
Mhm.
Same thing. These people have been on it forever. So we're gonna change something that's working for Ramsdale for what reason?
Yeah, well, but yeah,
I
that's
thi- I-
that's a good question. What, was it that there was an end date when the committee was formed and that's
Yes.
why? So is it like it was just a random, like, we're gonna stop at the end of June?
If
So,
you look on the town website, under the listing of Ramsdale Building Committee, it lists the members and you have a date after, just like trustees.
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
You don't
a term.
have an end date. And their end date is June 30th.
but
Is that
does anyone remember why? And why, because I agree with you, Pat.
The town bylaw said all the time, if you look at who's on some of these committees,
Mhm.
and, there's been people on those committees, well, one instance, the person doesn't even live in Great Barrington. So those committees are loosey-goosey all over the place. The select board in 2 seconds and say, we extend the committee. Done, extend it for another year, whatever, but the thing is,
So can we make a request?
yeah, we should vote on it, and that could be our request.
Well, I think that there are a couple of things getting conflated, though, as I
Okay.
understand it. As I understand it, what Great Barrington is like, this was an ad hoc committee formed for one purpose
Yeah.
of Ramsdale. And what many towns have a permanent building committee,
Sure they do,
and it involves a lot more officialdom of the town.
right.
And then they're tasked with going to it as part of their job. And that then the way that committee specializes is by adding certain people to it that are focused on the project at hand. So I feel as if it's not that when this reforms, if it goes in the direction that is being considered, there would be just many more people who were town, like department heads, right? And things like that.
Committee was specifically for the Ramsdale, for the
Well,
Ramsdale.
what was the goal was to get it through the phase we're at?
The grant process? What was the goal?
Of this committee was to advise and do the work for the trustees, for the library trustees. You had to be able to do, you have to hire the people, the right people, which we did. We hired the OPM, we hired the architects. And then to follow through the MBLC guidelines to get the plan and design, which is a concept plan,
Mhm.
accomplished by a certain date, which is December 31st.
And that was done.
And that was done.
Mhm.
And so that was the goal. And after that, if we were not waiting for funding, we would dive right into the next phase, which is the construction phase.
With
Is that what the charter said?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well,
So
fine,
is it-
I didn't hear that.
Yes.
So if we were not waitlisted, and like some of these projects, like the one in Otis, if they would say, okay, the plan has been approved, let's move on to the next step. And the next step is the construction phase, so then they would get a cost estimate, it would go before the town meeting.
So the town committee would continue to work.
And
That
so
committee would
this committee
continue.
would continue to take over.
But why was the end date decided? Because we're waitlisted and or the date that it's supposed to end, was it because there's like because there's a waiting period, so it's like
I cannot answer that question because this was a date that was set by the town, so the town must have a reason. And
Well, so I think that what we have here is a concern that we're losing historical knowledge. And we should express that and hope that as the town considers the next iteration of the building committee, that it considers bringing that historical knowledge into it. I don't think
that might actually mean bringing some of the core people who were on it with their historical.
I know, but I don't know that we didn't get a chance to, we didn't form the building committee. It was the town manager at the time, Mark Pruhensky, who did. And he actually was the person who reviewed the applications and made the appointments, right? So that's the process. It's not a process that we control. So we should just, we can advise, we can express concern and ask that certain things be considered. But I don't think we have the power to do much more than that, do we?
Yeah, I push, sorry, let me push back at everything here. First of all, a town like Westford, which, you know, it was great that Dawn got this information, that's a town that's got, 3 or 4 times the amount of people in it than we do. So that's people that could be on a committee or whatever. They have a permanent building committee. What else are we building here? We're putting together mausoleums. I mean, this is not a lot of building being done here. This is it.
So what do you suggest?
This is just, we just status quo. Let's go to select board, say, please just keep this committee the
keep
way it
it.
is. We had a hard time populating that committee as it was,
Mhm.
very hard.
Quick question though, is there any possibility that anyone who is currently on that committee is looking forward to the committee ending and wouldn't want to continue?
Well, then they're replaced like any committee is. But I don't know.
But again, if they're integral to the work that's been done, then we're still losing, we might still be losing
Yeah.
people. And that's not an argument against, I'm just trying to think
I
that
think,
through, like.
yeah, I think we also have to consider that we haven't had town either employees or town electeds serving on the committee yet. And I
Well,
think
yes,
that if,
we did, they just don't show up.
well, so let's say, I
Well,
mean, that's
so-
like in name only. So if we may be gaining some leverage in a reformed committee, and that might balance out some of the loss. And I think we should, I would propose that we express a concern that the historical knowledge of the current building committee be carried forward. And we have nothing we can do right now because
Let's not kick this down the road. There is something we can do. We could take even a vote. I guess we probably can't do it tonight. To go to the select board and say, just find out who doesn't want to be on the committee. But people have a lot of skin in the game that have been on the committee. They want to see the project through. That's why they got on it, right?
For
Yeah.
that reason,
So, I mean, that's.
but I just brought that up as
Right.
kind of a.
No, I think let's move forward on some things. This we can move forward.
Question before moving forward, do I understand correctly, Don, that you were saying that Liz wants to reconfigure the building committee, that it would be a standing committee
No,
Yes.
no,
for town
No.
buildings? for
it
town
was.
buildings.
that's a possibility. She's not
Saying what
proposing
Liz
it.
wants to do.
Okay,
Okay.
mine misspoke,
But
but that's the idea, that it would be a town building committee, and this
No,
would be.
no, it's not the
no.
idea yet.
no,
That's,
what I'm saying is that there's a consideration in restructuring the committee.
Yes,
It doesn't mean that the people that are on the current committee would be excluded. It does mean that other people might be brought on.
Where are these
From
people?
but it's not just for.
well, we just,
Sorry, where are these people?
If that's why.
Have they
I
ever
think that's
been
what she-
at a meeting of ours? Have
Okay.
they ever been interested? Everybody's been interested is involved.
But this next phase is different. It's different. The charter for the current building committee is for the planning and design phase. The
Yes.
planning and design phase is over.
yes.
Well.
The charter
maybe
now
not.
has to be for the next phase. And we may need different people on the committee. For example, maybe someone from planning, right? Or the building department. So I think the idea is to take a breather and think about what would be the best structure to make the project successful when we go forward.
Right,
You
right.
know, when we come back and we're.
I think, yeah, I think it's 6:30 now. What I want to do is get a sense from each of you about what you want to do, and then we will come to a consensus decision. So I'll go first.
Mhm.
I think that the work of the current committee has been awesome. And they have been incredibly diligent and really creative, and we commend them. But what I also feel is that we do need to get a lot more widespread buy-in on this project from the town. And so I think I would like to work with the town manager cooperatively and collaboratively to see that happen. So I propose that we express our appreciation for the building committee, talk about their historical knowledge, and encourage her to find ways to incorporate that knowledge in the next iteration. That's mine. Let's go.
Let me just say this, where is the town manager? She's
No,
been busy
no, no,
for
no.
6 months.
I want you to just,
I'm just saying, why don't you come talk to us? Why
okay,
isn't she part of this? And then we
Okay.
get something done.
okay, we're just saying now, we're not asking questions about the town manager. What do you want us to do?
Leave the committee as it is. If you want to add people, great. You will need to add people. There should be somebody from DPW on this thing. They were supposed to be from the beginning. They haven't been 2 or 3 times. That's going to be critical.
So you're proposing that we maintain the committee and add to it?
Sure.
Okay, Dawn, can you can't vote, but you can have an opinion. So what?
Yeah, thanks.
I was just thinking over my Robert's rules here.
I
But
know,
anyway.
yeah. I think that it's down to brass tacks when we get to construction. And I do think we have to think about putting together the best committee for success. I do think it's a really good point that we have people that have worked really well with the OPM and the architect and have a relationship now. And there's value in that, and understand where the project was when we started, before there was a project. And so I do think there's value in that. And I think that we can mention that to the town. And, there's nothing that says the committee has to be 6 people. Maybe
No, it could be
8
much
people,
longer.
maybe
It
it's
could be
9,
larger. Yeah. Yeah.
But I do think that it needs to change a little bit.
So your idea is close to mine, which is express the importance of the
We need more
historical
too.
knowledge, but work collaboratively to
We've got
move
to
it
get something
forward.
done. I don't mean to
Okay.
interrupt. We got to get something done with this building. We've got almost nothing
Well,
done
wait.
in 6 months.
Well-
Other libraries, what those building committees are doing is they're visiting other libraries to see what's out there. They're active, even though they're in the same boat we are.
Well, we could be doing that as
No, but
trustees
as a
too.
committee.
I mean, we could.
Well, I'm saying that, but because they have these committees that they just.
But
they've proven.
that might be something that the trustees could take on if,
You think the trustees are gonna take that on?
oh, I love traveling. I love
No,
going
we haven't gotten
places.
much done in a lot of ways this year. I hate to say it, but this is what this meeting should be about. We keep pushing everything down the road, adding more bureaucracy. This is so simple. Leave it as it is. If people want to leave, great. You want to add people, great.
Well, we can't leave it as it is because their terms are expired. I mean, that's just the fact. It's not up to us.
You can take a vote and send it to the select board.
Yeah.
But no, well, right now, we are getting the various
Okay, get this
proposals,
proposal.
and we are coming to a consensus.
So I'm veering towards agreeing with Dawn. But because I don't think it's fair to go back to the building committee and say, the building committee now, people who thought that their term was ending, to go back and say, now now you're continuing on. I think we need to give them an option.
Well,
Right.
we don't have that authority. We don't have that
They
authority.
have the option anyway. Frankly, I
So
didn't,
that they have the option.
I didn't know we were ending, because the thing is, they spend a whole year to work on something and say, see you later, somebody else is gonna take on. It doesn't happen with other libraries, especially libraries of our size. It doesn't happen.
Okay, we're going, that's, you're in concert with
I'm in
Dawn.
concert with Dawn.
Lauren,
I would say I am agreeing with everyone here, but I guess my thought is, so, okay, it's ending at the end of June. That's a done deal in the sense of the way that it was organized. And so I'm gonna ask a question before I finish saying what I want to say, which is, when that was decided that it was gonna have an end date, was there already this idea that there would be a new committee starting right after the first one ended? Or was
We
it
know
just
that.
gonna disband and that was gonna be
I
that?
didn't know what
And
this,
so I'm feeling like like, if nothing else, we need continuity. I think there shouldn't be a break. There shouldn't be like, all right, so now that ended and let's take however long it takes to form a new committee. I think that the momentum should continue. So I'm not sure what to do about that because everyone was saying it's not really our choice, but
We
like
can
Pat has
ask.
said that we can ask that a new committee be formed as soon as possible, very quickly, and that the original members be asked to stay on, and the ones who don't want to stay on, they leave. And then we're adding two more.
You know, here's a bureaucratic stall. Because the second, when you want to expand the committee, then you gotta make notice of how long. So it's probably 30 days, then you gotta get on all these agendas, which takes God knows how long. You're gonna wait for most of the summer to install this committee?
Well, I mean.
Well, we
okay, so
don't
that's
know. We don't
logistical.
know. That's a
Yeah.
logistical.
Well, that's the
So,
truth.
Got that, but we don't really, it would seem that we kind of don't have a choice. Because I don't think that we can just say, and as Laura said, so the committee is over, but you're staying on it anyway.
No,
Because
nobody,
that's
this is,
kind of what that
Well,
would be.
the charter was for a certain set of tasks. So to add new tasks to it, you need a different makeup charter,
But some of
whatever.
the old
Yeah.
tasks are still there because, this whole thing about the historical commission deciding now that they have all these issues did not come forward while all this was going on. How long have we been working on this now?
Mhm.
2 years?
Yeah, it came in March of this year.
But what I'm talking about, like going back to creating, doing the grant and all of that, it's been a long time. And now they're saying that things need to go their way. Right, all of a sudden, and so
Well,
it's like,
Wait,
It's a little-
If this is a town committee, this is a town
Mhm.
committee, why is not the town having this conversation?
Yeah,
About
good point.
what are we gonna do with this committee that is ending? What, are they
okay,
having
but
a
let me
conversation?
just say, the point of that was that the current iteration and everything that has happened since the beginning of this committee until now, the historical knowledge, if you will, they're gonna be the people who are going to explain to the historical commission why everything is as it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Is that the building committee or is that the trustees?
Well,
That
that's
should
a
be
good
working
question.
with the historic.
That's a good question, and I don't completely know, but I will say that again, that the historical commission could have come forward a lot sooner with any concerns.
Hey,
And
how
to
about
that-
if we had known at the beginning of the process that this would be a red flag?
That would be a red
I mean,
flag.
that would have been,
But
did anybody know that? And
Have them say?
I know, and
It's never- it's never mentioned once.
I don't recall it in the grant guidelines, but the fact that 3 projects are in the same boat and suggests to me that there's something wrong with communication about expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So one of the things that seems to be coming up,
have they chimed in all this time or only now?
Only now.
Yeah.
when Michael had to submit Michael, the architect, the lead architect, had to submit to the Massachusetts Historical Commission the design, which was created and submitted in, you'll know the dates, but it was like, say January, December 31st. And then he submitted in winter, and their ruling came back in about March, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how much time could have been saved if we knew in the beginning what their ruling would be, because we could have put every duck in a row, but it's water over the dam.
The response from the Massachusetts Historical Commission is very standard.
Right.
Anytime there's a demolition of a historical significant part of the building, they have to issue it that way.
Yeah.
So it's very standard. And what we have to do is just basically say why we couldn't keep it.
Right.
And get the support for the local historical commission. And they would have done their duty, and therefore they will pass this
Right.
on.
But
Okay, so I
I-
have two questions about
Yeah,
that.
I have a
did not
comment.
realize that we were Talking about the Massachusetts Historical Commission, I thought we were talking about the local. But the local historical commission, you know,
It's going to be a tough sell.
is,
What
I do
what
not
are
see
trying to
them just
discuss?
giving the.
Yeah, I think we need to,
Discussing
what we are trying to discuss is,
What are we doing with the RBC?
that's exactly right. Now, what I'm starting to understand, right, but what's emerging is,
We need to retain at least some of the original members if possible. And I think that we need to not have some big gap between the end of one committee and the beginning of another.
But is
That's-
that?
those seem very good.
That's again.
Well, no, I
that's
think-
my opinion, right? We're
Well,
just giving
because
our opinions.
Ramsdale would be an add-on to any permanent committee that was being established. What we could say is, we believe that we need to keep the committee constituted in some way as we go through this design review. And what would be the process for doing that with, and it wouldn't have to be everybody, but the key people, right, on it. And that would be a reasonable thing to, whether it needs to be formed as, whether it needs to continue in its current form with a recharter would be something beyond our purview.
Right.
But we could express our concerns. This is all within, this would be a great loss of historical knowledge. Ruby, it's my understanding, though, that the Historical Commission has to be engaged in the review, but that we can move forward after we have the review.
That's my understanding.
That's my,
Yes.
no, local,
Logo.
that we don't need their approval. It would be nice to get it, but we have to go through an engagement with
We
them.
have to go through this process.
Yes,
Just like if you wanna get an MRI, you have to call the insurance company and they have to talk to your doctor.
Right.
It's a standard process. And so it's just a process. We have to do what they tell us to do, and then we move on.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
just
Ruby,
that simple.
What is
yeah,
your-
so
what is
now
your
Ruby-
opinion about
How
how
to-
to
how to-
continue the committee?
yeah,
Well, I'm confused because I feel like my toes are stepped on. Because I have worked really hard this past year, 30 meetings or more. And now I have another member who would like to take over and work with Liz, is from what I hear from you, quoting from you, that you would like to work with Liz to set up this committee.
no, that's not what I said at all.
Stop put me.
Wait a minute, Ruby, that is not what I said at all.
Exactly what you said.
No, did anybody hear me say that? No, thank you.
To work with Liz.
Well, when I said,
About how we're gonna restructure.
I
this
think I
committee.
said we would work with Liz.
No, you said you would like to
I,
work.
Well,
I personally said,
Like to.
my opinion is that we should work with Liz.
Why, Stan?
Well, you're a trustee member of the committee.
I was the chair.
Okay, but what,
Right.
so, well, how about?
I'm going to stay out of this because I
Yeah.
honestly think, yeah.
You're hearing something that no one else is hearing, but what is your opinion about what we're discussing, which is the end of the committee and how it should go forward? I mean, are you someone who would want to continue on that committee? Because you're someone with like a lot of the historical knowledge, but you might be one of those people who are like, okay, but I'm done, what, you know.
Well, let me just, I can answer that. This has been more of a full-time job, way more than 40 hours a week
I know, that's.
for Ruby alone.
Ruby also said that at our last meeting that she would continue, but she would understand if that you were willing to continue. I don't remember how exactly it said. I don't know whether it was in our minutes, but that I forget how you said it, but so you've already said that you wanted to continue, right?
I will continue to help with whatever way that's necessary to keep this going. I did not join the committee to be the chair. As you well know from the
Right,
beginning.
right.
We had the architect as the chair. However, as time went on, it did not work out. So I took over. And I was hoping when the new architect joined us and we had reorganized some of our committee members, that someone else would take over, but they didn't. So I took over and I did the best I could. What I like to have is I would like to give all of the members who have worked really hard their own personal decision on whether they would like to continue with the project. But at the same time, I would like to add additional members under the directions of the town manager. And the reason for that is because if you have town manager organizing this process, you will have someone above to say, you've got to come to the meetings. You've got to put in your workload. You can't just be appointed and never show up. And that is the problem that we've had with what we've done so far. And so far we came out okay, but moving forward, it is a lot of work. And you have materials, you have, cost, you have to keep people, updated. You have to come and inspect as they're working on the buildings. There's so much paperwork, there's so much legalese, coding, all of that, cost estimate overruns. What do you do about that? All of that. I built 3 houses from scratch. I know what it's like. It's not fun. It's not fun because what you come up with is not what you started with. And so we need really good people who are diligent to be able to do the work. And so my feeling is that if you have the town manager come in and they tell you, we would like to have someone from the historical commission, we'd like to have the DPW to be more involved, we need to have a contractor to come in, someone that is a private contractor that understands that, that the cost of flooring is this much. And we could get it down to this much, but that's not, they know the verbiage to be able to get a good cost estimate.
So
So
this
it
is
sounds
sort of like the building committee going forward, those are the things that are gonna be needed and the people that are gonna need to be on them. And are you also saying that there are people who've been on the committee who actually haven't really shown up?
Yes.
And are those people, like people from other town committees who it was really important for them to be there and they haven't shown up, or just random
Employees.
people? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's.
So it sounds like you are in favor of some sort of restructure.
Yes.
Where.
Oh,
okay,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, because there are some people who are dedicated and have the knowledge that should stay on there, but it's also an opportunity to bring in a different group.
I think we need more people with the construction knowledge.
Yeah.
And especially at this phase.
So how again, so now we're.
I think
how does that happen?
we're reaching a consensus, it sounds to me. Oh,
Yeah, and
Okay.
and I might be way off base, but I am looking at the charter for the building committee, and it has 7 members. DPW is one of them, and if anybody doesn't attend 3 meetings, they can be asked to leave the committee. So I'm just looking at some of this stuff and who's on here, but some of your recommendations about who should be on there, like a local contractor, like people who might have more knowledge and information to be included in the committee sounds great. Restructuring sounds essential. Liz's involvement in restructuring it as a town committee is essential because she can rally the troops. She can get some energy behind this, but this is what we need. It will be supportive. So restructuring, and there is something, Ruby, pertaining to what I think we're referring to about working with Liz, the building committee working with Liz. Yeah, that the trustees are because the trustees are responsible for buildings and something else, that it is written in here that the trustees, that communications with town officials or negotiations with town officials need to be approved by the trustees. So that kind of rang familiar with when you were saying, that you would not be the person to negotiate with Liz, that it is more complicated than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hear what she's saying. I mean, it's the role of the trustees, but it does sound as if that was the way the charter was written before and approved by a previous town manager,
Select
right?
board in 2025, yeah.
Right, but they didn't write it. Mark Prohensky did.
Okay.
So that's going to be the same again. The current town manager is going to revise this, and I like that we had some teeth in the charter, but it wasn't enforceable. And that
So-
what we are looking for is a structure by which people will be compelled to do the things they've signed up to do, right?
Well-
That's all, that's the benefit of all of us. But it does sound to me as if, it sounds to me as if while we have a concern that there might be a gap and that we might be losing the opportunity to do some activities, we don't have a charter yet for new activities. We need to work with our town manager to get them. But the consensus sounds to be as if we may need more of the original RBC members than the minimum that MBLC requires a minimum of a library director and 2 trustees. We can encourage her to think through the expertise that other people have from their 2 years really intense involvement with this and what they could add to it. And if you could tell Dawn what those things are, because it's going to be Dawn working with town manager on this. It's not really the trustees
So
at this point.
making this
Well,
recommendation.
just one other thing, there's one hugely important
Between-
detail that we haven't even mentioned, and maybe it's not apparent to you folks. But there's something that's gonna cost us into 6 figures, an OPM, owner's property manager. And that's what MBLC insists that you have somebody that does what you're talking about. They're the expert. They're the ones that they go to the construction people and say, wait a second, this is supposed to be this, is supposed to be that. It's part of that program, it's part of the law. So most libraries depend on that great OPM to do these things, because we're not construction professionals. When we tried to get contractors to join this group before, what was their answer? Oh man, we're so busy, we can't take it, we have no time to come into a meeting. And so the thing is, we've got this baked into the cake, OPM. And that has nothing to do with the committee, it's hired by the town and everything else.
Don't we have an OPM?
We do, but.
We had one for this phase, and the
Yeah.
question will be whether a new one is hired. The next,
Yeah, the money runs out.
Yeah.
For these folks.
yeah.
But so that's something that you have to consider. That's the person you rely on to try to bring the thing in under budget. That's the person you rely on if you're having zoning problems about parking or whatever. That's.
And that is not, we don't unfortunately have the authority to do that, right? I mean, that's the building committee, and I think we don't have the authority to hire an OPM though. So I think it's in our best interest to encourage as much as possible that a decision is made about how the restructuring is going to happen. And maybe before Dawn meets when did you say you were meeting? In June? Later in June?
Yeah, after I come back.
Yeah,
June
so
9th or
maybe
10th, yeah.
maybe we could come up with some things that we consider are pressing. And not to try to hold a cudgel or anything, but to just say, we do have some things that in the next phase, we'd like to get started in this, year that we might have. And so I think the consensus is that we need to advocate for more members from the original committee than the minimum that MBLC requires, and see if that's possible. See if it goes.
We should talk to the MBLC. They do this every day, day in and out. Tell them, here's who we are on the committee. what should we add? They're the professionals who do this stuff. How many libraries have they done? I mean,
I think,
I-
Sharon wants to take over. She had said she wanted to work.
Oh,
with Liz
Ruby, no one else at this table heard that, and I'm not going to entertain it. I'm ruling that out of order as chair. Let's get beyond the personal
Okay,
and
hate to see
into
this.
what we're going
I'm
to
not
do with
sure
next
if you had this
steps.
Meeting, you know, the reorganizations, according to the charter, is supposed to happen after the town meeting. We've never had this before. We've actually had a reorganization meeting. We come in and vote on who's gonna be the next chair.
Okay, fine. Who wants to take over as chair? I'm resigning.
That's the
I'm done.
charter.
I'm done.
Done it that way. And I know that it was, talked about that we would nominate and then vote later.
And no one
As far as I
objected.
know, we've never done it that way.
Well, but
No one objected.
No one
We
objected.
have
But it's
agreed
pretty-
to it.
all
don't
that
have
we
the right to
agreed
do
to.
that.
And we agreed
Doesn't
because
charter
of
say?
closeness. I couldn't get sworn in,
Right.
so.
The,
yeah, we couldn't
the
vote.
town meeting was, the town election was yesterday.
Yeah.
And if you see that in the meeting notes, the meeting proposal that I gave you includes that for May. Do we move to a later date so that we don't have to do this again?
Yeah, but you're losing also, on the next term, you're losing another month for somebody to be chair, for one thing. And then are we gonna wait until the middle of summer to get going here? This is
Where
a
do we
problem.
need to go and what do we need to do right
Yeah,
away?
exactly.
We need to do outreach this summer.
I agree.
Right.
What's to stop us from doing that?
Well,
If we
there's no-
get the
there's no-
messaging. I mean, does the building committee,
Okay,
is the
look,
building
we
committee?
need to finish this agenda item.
Okay,
Right now, we have a consensus, I believe, that we want to work with the town manager to, as she reorganizes this, and encourage her to consider including more people from the original building committee than the minimum that MBLC requires. Is there anything else that we've done besides kvetch?
Well, no, and I just want to add to that, or my question for that is, how are we doing that?
yeah.
Well, I believe that it's through Dawn. I believe that it's through Dawn as the direct report to town manager. And
So is that what, so Dawn will come, you'll.
A month from now, she's gonna meet.
When you meet about.
Let's just send her a memo now.
I mean, or who's writing it, or do you need to write it? Do we, I just want to know.
yeah, I don't know.
'Cause
I don't know, because right now I'm a little emotionally frustrated.
We have the
So I'm not gonna be
consensus,
thinking
but
through.
This is,
But we don't have a plan on how to get that, to
We don't.
the town manager.
We
So
don't.
I'm just curious how.
this is great. I mean, I
Through
think,
Dawn, in your
Okay.
meeting in June, getting this
why are you
feedback.
waiting till June? We all have computers. We just send a memo to the town manager. Let it sit on her desk for a few weeks. But why do we have to wait for Dawn's
Here's a
vacation?
question, can we write down our
No.
recommendations now,
This
put them
happens
in
all
an
the time
email,
in
and send it
business.
to Liz Hartscraft?
Yeah,
Anybody want to draft an email?
No, I don't. I prefer, I mean, the MBLC considers the library director the project manager. And she is the direct report to town manager. If you want to change the channel of communication, we can write a memo, but it's not going to have the weight of an in-person meeting.
Take notes about everything.
Yes, my question
Right,
is,
so-
I can write to her and convey these concerns, that, the concern about continuity on the committee and retaining historical
Right.
knowledge, familiarity with working with the architect and the OPM.
We need a new charter.
Yeah.
We obviously need a new charter. I don't think we're gonna get a new charter by July 1st.
No.
We're just not.
Right,
Um,
right. But
So-
I guess, can you address this with her before your meeting in the middle of June?
I
So
could
that
send her
she's already kind of got that in her head, that's something you're gonna be talking about.
I can send her those points,
Right.
yes.
Okay. I think that's, yeah.
As far as sooner than later, I mean, it seems to me that what has been decided is that the trustees will do outreach and not the building committee.
Yeah,
So I don't
exactly.
see what the point is of rushing
Mhm.
the building committee to do outreach, if that's what you're concerned about. Sharon said earlier, we should, try to do some events coming up in this interim time.
Mhm.
But that's the trustees, that's not the building committee.
I disagree.
So-
It's both, because who's gonna ask the architects to come back? You?
They're not, or who's gonna pay them?
Yeah,
Well,
we're not
there you
gonna pay
go.
I mean-
them.
Well, there's these
And so
questions.
isn't the outreach to garner support? from
Yes.
the community?
Yes.
Right,
Okie
so-
dokie. So what's to stop us from getting
There's
the message
nothing
out
to
straight?
stop us. There's
And
nothing.
everybody kind of knowing what to say, how to respond, what
There's
points
nothing.
to, you know,
Right.
let's not wait,
Right.
Pat, we can start.
Yeah, we need dates certain. Right now, we should have dates certain. We're gonna do over the summer. We're gonna wait till July to decide what we're gonna do, and when are you gonna do it then? This is never.
That's what I'm saying.
So do we
No,
want to
let's
start
do
working
something.
on the outreach ideas and come back with a
Look,
list?
Look, it is now 7 o'clock. We haven't even gotten to the real agenda items. We're still in reports, which was what I was concerned about when I looked at the agenda. I said in the beginning that we should, in June, as a goal, in goal setting, plan some outreach events. It's on the agenda for June. I don't understand this. I don't understand we've got a lot of emotion in this room right now. And what I would like to do is come back to figuring out how we work together rather than to cast aspersions.
I think we
So
are
what-
really frustrated with the way this is going. The outreach is simple. The summer, there's gonna have to be farmers market activity.
Mhm.
You know, there's 7 or 8 weekends right there.
Mhm.
So I mean, none of this.
I'm gonna say right now that that is something we will talk about later because we have, it is 7 o'clock.
Oh, I know, but we're not getting anything done.
All right, I'm going to tell you because maybe you haven't been coming to as many meetings, you've been on the side. As I said the last time, we did the farmer's market last fall and I asked people how they thought it went. I met a lot of people from New York at
Yes.
that farmer's market,
Yeah.
a whole lot of people. I met
Better.
really lovely people.
And a lot of them are second homeowners. Cause I met some of them too.
Well, a lot of them didn't even live in
And a
Great
lot of them
Barrington.
don't.
What I'm saying is that it was a lot of effort that we put out for not much. I think if we do farmer's market, we'd be handing out a bookmark saying, we're talking about, I mean, having a whole table, spending money to put things at a table. I'm not sure there was a great
Well,
ROI.
then what do you suggest we do?
Well, I wanted to think about it next
Think
month.
about it next month, okay.
Well, we can come back with
Jesus.
suggestions for next month, and it will include the HIC, perhaps collaboration for outreach and other things happening in Housatonic that don't cost money like a table at the farmer's market. The Hughesy Market even had a lot of out-of-towners, meaning surrounding.
But I do
towns.
think it's better. I think the
There-
winter
it is
market is
more-
better. It's
and
more local.
You don't have to pay for a table.
We didn't have to pay for a table. They did
After-
donate it. We wouldn't get a donated table every week, but they did donate. They do it for community groups.
Okay.
So there is that. But I honestly don't think we're as far behind as Pat does, but we're not winning.
Well-
Nobody's going to win
Let's
that
move on.
conversation.
Move
We
on.
are moving
Move
on.
on.
Dawn, you will send a note with concerns about maintaining historical knowledge. And we'll see when Liz has time to get to it. It's a little dramatic right now in town, let's face it.
Can I
Okay,
ask you this thing on this? You just petitioner to extend the present committee until whatever time the town leadership can get to a point of reorganizing something.
That's not what the
No,
consensus was.
that's not the
Okay, but
consensus.
what are you gonna do when MBLC calls? Who are they gonna talk to?
You're
You?
gonna talk to me.
Okay.
And then who are you gonna talk to?
I'm gonna talk to whoever the chair is at that time.
But we're not gonna have one at that time. He's over the library.
Well, you and Ruby are still trustees, so Dawn can talk to the two of you.
Just do what you guys wanna do, but I think it should take a good look at where we've been in this whole last year, and you decide if we're moving ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Taken note. Laura, can we table homebound delivery
Yes,
update for
please.
till June? Thank you. And there was a statement of collaboration with the trustees in the current RBC. This would be in force for about 6 more weeks, so I'm tabling that. We will use that if we form a statement when a new committee is formed. Is there any update on the MOU with the Friends in the Fund from the town manager?
No.
Okay, that is next time. Okay. Dawn, we will have to, how much time do you want to take for the website?
All I want to say is we have to make a decision. We have to make a decision. Fortunately, thank our lucky stars, the deadline was pushed back an entire year.
Until
So-
when now? Remind us.
The deadline is now not until April of 28. April
Okay.
26, 2028.
Okay.
But this is going to take time. So for example, in this one quote that I have, they're saying 22 weeks. That means 30 weeks, right?
Mm.
32 weeks, something
Mm.
like that. So it's going to take a lot of time to do this if we want to start from scratch. It's going to take a lot of time either way. If there's a chance that we might want to apply for a grant for it, we have to be ready to go. The particular grant that I was thinking of, we would have to be ready to go. Even before I applied for the grant, because
Right. Right.
it all has to take place within one fiscal year. And there's barely 22 weeks between the announcement and when the grant period is over. So what needs to be done is a decision needs to be made. Do we want to put out an RFP to redo the entire website? This proposal's $1,350, I think, $13,050. Plus there's add-ons, as you could see. So it would really be more than that. So say $15,000. So
That's the rebuild. That's the complete ground up.
rebuild, right.
Ground
So
up.
there's one option. Another option is to pay somebody to fix what we've got. It's really difficult to estimate how much that could cost, but I could ask people to look at it, I suppose. They would have to get back in there and try. I can tell you that the young man who's managing our website now is really having to try all different kinds of things,
Yeah.
even just a change in color, because it's really overcoated. Another option is there are subscription services. There's Accessibility. That's a subscription service that will get us almost all the way there, but it doesn't deal with PDFs. So it could be that we would have to add Accessibility and keep Recite Me. So Accessibility would be, I think it was $1,500 a year.
$14.90.
Yes, and Recite Me is another $1,000 a year.
So the one thing that you have told us in the past, I mean, you made it simple. You said you said simply overcoded, but I thought it was really eccentrically coded, and that it seemed to be relying on the knowledge of the one build person, that it wasn't easy for somebody else to take it up and understand how to get
It's
into
very
it, right?
difficult to make changes.
Right.
So it's 5 years old, and you know, technology changes very quickly. And at this point, it's difficult to update it. I think like WordPress now, I don't know, somebody told me it's like front loading or something that's a little bit easier for staff to use. It also does not have a calendar.
Right.
There's no calendar. We could get a plug-in and put that in. It's just one more sort of piecemeal thing. So my point is, we need to come to some kind of decision, and we don't have to do it tonight. But it's something that we need to think about and maybe decide about towards the end of the year, so that we can do the RFPs and see how much it could cost and decide. Of course, we could use something like Accessibility to extend it to 2029 or whatever. That gives us more room, but it doesn't work with PDFs.
Yeah.
So we either have to, I would have to find out if it can work with Recite Me and keep Recite Me for the PDFs, or I have to consult somebody and figure out how to turn PDFs into HTML, because I don't know how to do that. So
yeah.
yeah.
One of the things that I worry about in trying to just nurse our current site along is that it doesn't really work for anybody right now. You know, if there's no way to kind of set it up so that one of those featured program posts automatically goes away after the program's completed. These are just standard things. It's requiring a
way to do that,
but it's a lot more staff time than
right.
is spent trying to get into this. Whereas if we started with a new site that was built with the idea that it would be staff updating it, not somebody trying to get billable hours out of updating it. And that could accommodate more plugins and more widgets that in the
Some of
long
that
run,
staff can do, some we can't.
right.
You know.
But in the long run, I think it would be a more efficient and effective tool.
I think our site is not terribly user friendly.
Right.
But to reorganize things and change the headings, the main titles, I couldn't do. The one he changed from front desk to about us took him hours
Wow.
because he had to figure out.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be.
I have some comments. My first one is, I just think that we should go with a new website. So I'm not even gonna go in with any reasons why. I just think it should be fresh and new. I personally have never liked the website that we have, and we did a lot
Took 3 years.
to get that. It
Yeah.
took a long time. I never liked the looks of it, and it's not user friendly. And then, second question is, does it have to be a WordPress site? Because
There is
WordPress-
Squarespace, but I don't know if Squarespace, if there are as many plugins for Squarespace that are available.
There might not be.
Yeah.
And because you know, from having had a WordPress site, I found that they changed things so often that keeping up with it was nearly impossible, which is why you end up having to have sort of a back end person. But it's like that with anything. I mean, the website I have for my business is a Shopify site, and I can do a lot on it. But there comes a point where I have to call someone and they have to
Mhm.
play around in the background to get things to. It's just the nature of the beast. It's like, so yeah, the librarians could do a bunch of things, but there's always gonna be a point where someone else, you're gonna have to call someone who, you know. So then, and my third thing is, let's just say we're gonna go with the new site, right, and whatever the price is, and how is it going to work with actually choosing a look and a company to go with? What are gonna be the things that
I think we would have to do an RFP. I've drafted an RFP.
Okay.
Because frankly, I was a little bit panicked because.
Yeah, it was coming up.
Yeah. So I think that we would choose a company first. But as with web links, they
Based
will
on
give us
things-
a list of sites that they have done.
Done. Their
So we
portfolio.
can look at them
Yeah.
and see if we like kind of their aesthetic.
right?
And then it's this group that has to choose colors and logos.
I will say, oh, sorry.
I would like to request some information from our director as we're going through this process, because I would like to know from our director what you would like to see in a website.
You mean me?
Yes.
I would like it to be
Because-
cleaner. I would like it for people to intuitively know where they could find names of staff, where they could find contact information. Where they can find, I would like something that says calendar, you know, I think
Right.
it should be.
So-
I hate to say it, like our website is unique, but that doesn't help the
So-
patron.
So for us to decide on something that predominantly is used by the staff, we really need to have some criteria. So for example, I would like to have these criteria in place. And then what I like to have is a reference. The references are basically other websites that you've worked with that you really liked.
Also, we should ask the public. We
Yes.
should say, when you're using our website, what trips you up?
And we're the
Yeah.
public, we're the public,
And let's.
Right?
also.
Can I finish what I'm
So
saying?
sorry.
Yes, thank you. And then what I like to do is actually have several different choices so that we could
Oh, yeah.
decide which choice would be best. So those are my three requests for us to do this project. That's it.
Well, I think that the third piece is a given, like,
And that third piece means looking at the websites that they have designed to see if we like the aesthetic.
no, well, there's that, but the third piece being, here, we've narrowed it down to choices A, B, and C.
Yes.
That, you know what I mean, that we're still.
Yeah. Last time, and we needed this time to a committee that's just done separately, away from this table. Maybe with some local people who are in this business too, and then this committee can bring it back to us with some suggestions.
Yeah, and staff should be very much involved with it.
Find some local people who are willing to give us some of their time.
We don't need that many people. Last time I think about 3 or 4 people max.
No,
I could
I
think
know,
of
I
it,
just
yeah.
mean, are there a couple of people who would be willing to do this and not get paid because it
Right.
would be.
So,
piece of-
so these are all process things, but I think is anybody against just starting new with a new website? I mean, I think,
I've been involved in a couple, and where we end up in one in serious trouble, we committed to it and everything else, but it's the back end thing with who's gonna do the work for you and all this stuff, that the second we were getting done, they're saying, well, by the way, our rates are changing 2 years from now, they're gonna skyrocket on the assistance we needed for that tech support.
okay, so that's it.
And we wasted like $10,000. We had to just scrap it because we could see that we were hostage at that point.
So it has to be when we're evaluating, we want to make sure that the maintenance, the general maintenance can be done by somebody who's independent of the company who's building the site. I mean, that's part of the criteria,
Actually,
right?
it's something I asked her about this.
Okay, good.
I said, if we have our own person to do the backups and do and she said, yes, that's fine. I said, do we have to host it with you? She said, no.
That's great.
Okay, so these are good things.
Yeah.
Based on what I understand that other libraries have spent on doing new websites, that 13.5 sounds to be in the lower end of what people have spent. I know, I told you that we did ours at the Center for the Book for like, 5,000.
It's 50 pages.
Yeah.
The quote is for 50 pages, and I didn't actually count our pages. Actually, I went behind in back of the website and there's a list of pages, but,
So one of the things that we included in the project was that not only would they do the pages to bring the new information in, but they would give template pages. So this is, and so that you would have the ability to pretty easily populate a new page because you would have a template and you wouldn't have to go back to them for it. So
we
those
actually have that now.
Oh,
We
good.
can create pages.
And this also includes a mobile version at no extra cost.
I think this does, and I think that most would include mobile now.
Yeah, and we could confirm that. So Dawn, for your time frame, would it be good to go sooner? Given that we hope Freetown is going to? Would it be useful to do it before things?
The earlier we start, the less panicked we have to
Yes,
be.
right.
Because one question I asked her about this particular quote was that she has included a quote, $500 a year for accessibility, which is the other quote that I gave you. And I said, why?
Yeah.
You're gonna make
Yeah.
this thing so it's compliant. She said, yes, but the moment it's done, compliance is no longer, the next person comes and it may not be compliant. So that's like an ongoing concern.
So that's, interesting.
So I have to ask her more about that, and we would have to see what other companies said about that.
Do we need to,
I think that the updates would be free.
She's talking about like an everyday kind of
Monitoring of it, right?
depending who is using the site, I think. So that's something I need to understand a little bit better. Yeah.
do you want us to say we want you to move forward? Because
Yeah, we can develop.
should we take a vote on it?
That's not, because it's too much money. You're gonna have to post it first.
Yeah. it has
No,
to-
no,
it
no.
has to be,
We don't approve any particular vendor, but approve the process of developing the RFP, starting it as soon as is practicable in your workflow, And, and because then we have to evaluate the proposals when they come in, right? But I've,
But so all of that, but can we say that we agree that it should
Be a
start
new-
fresh? Can we?
I'd like to make a proposal that we encourage Dawn to write an RFP to have a new website built and not try to repurpose the problematic one we have.
That's what I was getting.
Cool.
Okay.
You want to second it?
Well, it was a motion and
Oh,
not a
it's a
proposal.
Oh, I'm, okay, you moved it and I'll second you. Laura, Lauren, Ruby,
Hi.
Sharon, Donna, next
Next-
week, you'll be,
next month.
next month you'll be an I, Pat. Okay, that was unanimous. And really, we encourage you to work it into your workflow because we do now have until the 20.
So even if,
And then-
even if we didn't get the grant, you guys still want to look at this?
We have to,
Okay.
we have to.
Which grants is it?
It's a state grant, something about ADA accessibility. I could send it to you.
Okay.
When do you know
Yeah.
that?
It's actually, the deadline is June, but we're not ready for this.
No, it'll be for next
You'll
year.
look at-
But the nice thing is if we got the grant next year, but when our work was completed, we could easily fit in that remaining 22 weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's good.
Is this grant payable in the rear?
Yes, it's
So
a
you have to
reimbursement,
do it
a reimbursement.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so you're gonna do it either way.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
that's mine.
so good luck with that, Dawn, and
Okay.
let us know if you want any of us to look over the RFP or anything, but I'm sure you and the staff know what you're looking for. Dawn, where are we at with this food and potable water issue? Is this something we should address this month or can we take it up next
I
month?
think we should wait.
Okay, we're tabling that. There's new regulations about town funds being spent on food. And the question, yeah, buying food for programs and whatever else. And it seems as if it's going to prevent us from easily supplying food, even if it's from state aid right now. It seems very confusing. So we're trying to work out a way to offload, perhaps, if this comes to be, offload some of the costs that the Friends are bearing right now. If we, for instance, could be allowed to purchase water from Mason, that would free up the Friends to purchase more program foods. But Dawn's going to find out more and we'll bring it up in June. Okay. Okay. Now, nomination of officers for the current year, for the coming year. We elect for 1-year terms. We don't have a full voting body because town election was yesterday, which is why we agreed last month that we would nominate officers and then elect them in June. I will happily turn over the gavel after that first agenda item, after the officers are elected. So whoever is nominated, if we don't have a contested race, I'll collaborate with you on the agenda for next month. Happily. Let's start with chair. Do we have people who would like to nominate themselves or others to this task?
Yeah, you can nominate.
You can nominate yourself, you can nominate others.
I thought a year ago, we had talked about, like, everyone gets a turn. And so if you're chair this year, then the secretary would be chair next time, and then maybe the treasurer will get next time, or, have a road.
I thought we talked about that, but I don't think people wanted that.
Yeah. It's voted, we talked about it, but I don't
Yeah.
think that it was decided.
There are many committees that work that way.
Yeah.
That you get into line as usually you start as secretary, and lots of those committees have vice chairs and then you go
Right.
up. But
Right.
I thought people didn't want that and we didn't approve
That
it.
was my.
So I think we're
Amendment.
just starting, we don't have that. And I don't think we have time tonight to create a succession plan, but that could certainly be on the agenda. to talk about for the coming years.
Well,
We'd have
I
to-
mean, to make it easy.
we'd have to change the
as a
bylaws to do that.
secretary, you know, I am not willing to step up and be the chair by myself, but I am willing to co-chair the committee with someone.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, next year is a consequential year here, for sure, with the money problems. If one person is chair, they're gonna get buried here. You know, they're gonna have to be the front person on all this stuff. It's too much for one person. We've had a co-chair before. If you Ruben and I were co-chairs.
Right. you
And
did.
that worked out great because we were trying to do all this stuff in the building program. There was no other way to do it. And plus, if you look at our charter, in C, it says that the chair serves as ex officio member of all committees of the board.
Yep.
Which means the chair would actually, is technically supposed to be going to all the RBC meetings.
Right.
And I talked to MBLC about this before, and he said, that makes perfect sense, because then there's connectivity automatic between these committees and various committees. So I think, considering it's a consequential year, it's too much for one person. Anybody would be crazy to do it wrong, that we should do that. And so I'd like to nominate Ruby and Laura to be co-chairs, if that makes sense.
There's a nomination.
We're not voting.
Nomination or not, right?
Do you have to tonight accept it or think about it?
No, we're going, because we're gonna vote. Now, we have to have a slate today. We're not deciding the people. So what you're saying is you agree with the idea of a co-chair,
Yeah.
and you are nominating, we're not having like a slate, but you're nominating Ruby if she wants to accept it to be another possible co-chair.
Yeah.
So is there anyone else who was willing to nominate themselves? Because Ruby has been a lot of chairs and may have other thoughts.
Is it something you would like to do?
You do
Yes,
accept.
co-chair?
Oh, yes, she's accepting.
Okay.
Is there anybody else who would like to put their name forward to co-chair?
Well, I've thought about doing it, but I'm fine not. I mean, I'm the person who didn't want to go around the room all the time, because it would have meant that I would have to be chair at some point. But I would be coaching. So that's,
Lauren, you're willing to do co-chair, go for it, because you.
well, again, we're not voting.
No,
So
but think of the
figure
logistics, so
trustees
somebody's gonna have to go on the building committee meetings, because that's what our charter says. And then the other committees with it, so you have enough time, that the commitment is. I mean, she was looking,
It's a concern for me.
yeah,
Well,
that was brutal.
Laura, you have tons of.
I have to say that I mean, the one thing I do want to say is the RBC is a town committee. We did have 2 trustees on it. So it's not a subcommittee. It's not like the website subcommittee or this subcommittee of the trustees. So we would discuss, I think, but I don't
think
know.
for a subcommittee,
But-
because the trustees vote on the actions of the committee. That's why it needs to be
Well-
somebody that's on both committees.
Question about, for instance, the RBC, if there were co-chairs, but we need 2 people from the board on that committee, it wouldn't necessarily have to be the
No,
co-chair.
it would not be.
One
It'd
of
be-
them, it
it
would have
would-
to be at least one of them and another member.
You know, and
How would
the other,
that work?
let me say one thing about
We'd have
that.
to
I
work that
think
out.
in a
That's
six,
work,
in a,
that's work.
in a 6-person board, to have 2 of those 6 people be on that committee, it just seems like, is that necessary? I mean.
That's an MBLC, that's an MBLC.
According to the membership here.
7?
It should be 7 people.
Yeah,
Well, that was the
five.
current charter. Don't forget, that was that whole, yeah. Yeah.
They throw
Yeah.
out the thing, because
No.
this also has terms, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years.
Right.
Okay.
But
Thinking about the library.
we're looking.
That's people.
See requirement.
Oh, is it?
It's an MBLC requirement. Yeah.
But the board,
So-
our board is 6 people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Our board
Gotcha.
is 6.
Gotcha.
We talked about increasing that at some point. We
Yeah.
have talked about that.
Is that legal?
Yeah, I don't know,
to do that?
right, we've never done anything about it, it's not something we could just do. I
It's
think
not
that we'd
something
have
to just do. I just feel every time I walk away from a meeting, I always feel like 6 people to run the business of 2 buildings is.
We only had 2 people running for the spots.
Also,
No, I
Yeah,
understand that. I
it's just-
understand
It's
that.
not
I'm just-
appealing candidates.
I always think about boards as being uneven members rather than.
They
Well,
need to be odd.
Remember, Mass General Law,
No, they,
No,
I
Mass-
think they need to be odd, but this is not. This is-
but Mass General Law says that if, and I don't know if it's in the library section, that if a library board increases in size, it can go from 3 to 6 to 9.
Yeah.
So it's like the 3, 3, 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very difficult, which would be very difficult
You
for
think?
us to do in this town.
Oh,
Has
this town.
3, in this town to get 3 people to 3 more.
Well,
people to
I mean,
think.
we'd have to do a serious recruitment
Serious.
process.
Mhm.
And I don't know.
But it wouldn't be difficult to administer 9 people.
No.
I think it would make things easier.
I do think it's possible. I think it's possible. And we also talked about whether we could find out if we could bring on, if we went up to
Advisory.
9, whether we could bring on one year,
Yeah.
whether we could add them 1 year at a time,
Mhm.
or whether we'd have to do all new 3 plus whoever is
Right. Or
also.
if we could just have an advisory committee that did, who did not have to be elected.
Or voting.
That's right. We also talked about
Right.
that. And we should bring that up again because it is getting to be a lot of work. So, all right. So how are we working at, what's our, we
How
have
do
3
I- how
people
do we
who've
get-
raised their hand. Do we have a slate? Do we have 2 people? Are we going to consider among 3?
Well, I don't know, I thought we weren't voting, so it's just like.
No, I'm just trying to get who's
talking about
nominated.
it,
Are we,
so-
I mean, are we going to leave it all 3? Yeah.
So there are 3 people nominated.
Is there anyone-
For co-chairs,
Is
yes.
there anyone who wants to nominate any of the 3 of us?
Well, I nominated before.
Maybe
we
we
got
all
going, I said, well,
nominated.
Yeah.
We're all nominated right now. Do we want to leave it all 3 and then we'll vote for 2 or I mean, we have to figure out what the slate is. So how can we work this out?
Because she's new and I'd like to hear what she would like to do, and whether that would like to just be a member for this year or what.
I'm
Do you have
thinking
any
this is my
thoughts?
learning year, and I will certainly pitch in and do stuff, whatever the stuff might be, whether it's outreach, whether it's grant writing, whatever it might be. I don't think I know enough to be treasurer, and I don't, you do have a treasurer, don't have a treasurer?
We do.
Okay, who's the treasurer?
Ruby?
Oh, you're the treasurer too. Okay,
Right, so we need to also nominate.
We need secretary and treasurer.
Secretary treasurer. Is it
being a
possible?
a co-chair should not be the treasurer as well, is that right? Right, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I wish I could be helpful and be a treasurer, but you don't want me doing that, because it won't balance, I won't balance the book.
Can one person be those 2?
Secretary, treasurer.
Secretary, treasurer?
Yes, you can
Yeah.
do that,
You can do that.
We could do that.
yes. So somebody could do that,
So I would nominate then Sharon
to be
to
secretary.
be secretary treasurer
With 2 co-chairs.
with 2 co-chairs. So this way there would be 3 out of the 6 officers instead of a majority of
Of
a
officers.
3-person board officers.
Okay,
That would be my thought.
Mhm. It's good.
Oh, right, because you've been secretary.
Yes,
Right.
Right, because you could not be chair secretary.
and it would be 3 people
Co-chairs.
being officers.
Right.
how much longer are you doing BSO stuff?
Oh, let's not talk about that.
oh.
At least all summer, but it's,
Do you
what you're
think
reading in
this
papers,
is
it's worse than you see.
Chair, co-chair?
No.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, no, I can't do, at this point, I can't do it. I'm happy to help on the building committee stuff, because that's gonna be a slow motion thing. I could be happy to be a co-chair if you were chair of that still, happy to do that. That's a slower process. But otherwise, things are just upside down right now.
Could the RBC be a task force of our board if the new committee is informed? Could we form a building committee of the trustees? Remember we talked about bringing in people who were not trustees to help us
Oh, you
with
mean like a committee?
a committee, like it would be
In the interim.
an interim.
Mhm.
So like it could be a committee of the trustees working on
On Ramsden.
Ramsdale.
Well, that's basically what that language said, right? That that the trustees would be responsible for whatever.
Yeah, where did that language come from? At this point, I'm so foggy on it. Did that come from
Um,
you? Came from you? That the
Intervening.
trustees would be the intermediate.
Oh, yes, in the meantime. And the trustees are the ones that have to do the outreach anyway, so.
Okay, well, let's try to get this. So who wants to stand for chair, co-chairs? You have the three of you, each talking amongst yourselves. And is there anybody else who wants to raise their hand to be secretary treasurer?
Donna, you said you want to be secretary?
I did not see that, no,
Oh,
I
you didn't say that.
I definitely
That's what I
said,
said,
you don't want me printing the numbers.
Oh,
Okay.
That, because I switch them around, the numbers, all the time. Yeah, my phone number, everything.
But we'd like to keep it to three officers
We'd like
since
to
we
keep
only
it to
have
3
six
officers.
Okay.
Right, all right, so
So
then that would leave you.
co-chairs and a secretary treasurer.
Yeah,
for 1 year.
that would,
For 1 year.
But
These are-
let's
these
put
are
it on the
your terms.
agenda to expand
The board.
the board.
Yeah.
Because you, moving forward, so between the three of you, who are we?
We vote for them, they're running against
well,
each
they
other.
can go for themselves too.
Right, but I
Right,
thought we
okay.
We're
right,
not
we're
voting
not
tonight.
voting because.
This is just. this
So
is
we're
just-
leaving it with 3 nominees for two
For two
co-chairs.
spots, Yes.
If anything changes.
Kind of
They'll
like
they'll
the
just do it
finance
out in the
committee.
background.
No, but I think it's so unfair. This year is gonna be hard.
It's
All
every
right.
year.
No, this
Pat.
one's worse.
I mean-
This one is worse. Because of the,
Don't you remember the grant? I mean, that was.
Okay.
that was
So,
awful.
how am I, I'm trying to move us to the next agenda item. So is that the way we're leaving it? We have 3 nominees? Okay,
So we will have, yes, 3 nominees for 2
Okay.
co-chairs.
but I also, is there anybody who wants to be chair on her own? It's all 3 of you. Okay,
That would be enough. for me.
That
okay,
would be enough for me too.
okay.
And Ruby, would that be enough?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Remember the liaison appointments?
Board of Health, again, so I have to figure out what's gonna happen with the Board of Health as well.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Is there a meeting?
Oh, no, it's not congratulations.
Okay, okay.
Oh, no, congratulations.
Never mind.
Okay, all right, so
Okay.
I'm trying to move us forward. We have other guests, Eileen Mooney, James, I'm assuming is Garzone, and Marie,
Bravo,
how do you say that?
bravo.
Okay,
No,
Blavo, Blavo.
Oh,
Okay, so I want to, in case we want citizen speak, I want to try to move us along. So those are our nominations. We will vote at the beginning of the next meeting. And I am going to turn the gavel over at that point. Review of the liaison appointments, that's going to be done by the new co-chairs, and that will happen in July. So next month, we will bring to the party and give to the new chairs the liaison appointments you think we need to consider. Remember, we can't force ourselves to be a liaison, so it has to only be with people we're already working with. So bring your ideas and we'll make sure we have them all so that they can consider who to appoint in July. I gave you the proposal for meeting dates for fiscal 27.
Oh, right, yeah.
They're in the meeting packet. Everybody take them home.
Okay.
Check them against your calendars. And I put 2 question marks in. There were 2 dates that seemed as if we might want to make some adjustments. One was the main meeting so that we didn't have to do this kind of split reorganization. And the other one, I honestly can't remember which one it was. I put
Veterans Day.
which one?
Veterans.
Oh, yeah, the proposal, the November meeting would be on Veterans Day, which is a national holiday and all the buildings are closed. So I was saying, is the 18th okay? The other option would be to go, back a month, a week. So check your calendars on all of those and let's confirm them next month, okay?
Hit on this one.
Yeah, there's.
At the very end.
At the very end, after the,
There's a couple of things after that. It's before the board liaison policy.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
before liaison appointments for consideration.
Yep. So, and the liaison policy was there simply to distribute it to you. But now I realize I have to retype it anyway, so that was really for your records, not for the meeting. Okay, so we will confirm them.
okay,
They're in the packet, Donna, yeah.
I don't have, I can't.
Okay, I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you again. I'll send them to you again.
I got it,
Okay,
no problem.
okay. Let's go on to citizen speak time. Nobody's raised the hand. Media speak time. Eileen, do you have any? Okay. Any additional trustee comments?
Thanks for being so graciously inviting this evening, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks, Donna. Okay, we are adjourned by unanimous consent at 7:41.